Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Me and Gallica wake up fresh. She was telling me about an awful dream she had until Hulkenberg entered the room frantically telling us that more children have gone missing. This leaves us to be shocked, but means that we can confirm if Heismay is the culprit or not as we head to the runner. We enter the runner and Neris is drunk. Bloody hell, good job, mate. She's annoyed, saying she's gonna get cold water, and if it's not working, he's got hell to pay. Well, he's got hell to pay regardless, but she lets out a noise as it seems that Heismay didn't try and escape, still bound. Turns out in his drunken stupor, he threw Heismay in the toilet. At this point, I think he's just taking the piss, quite literally. But this leads to the question, what got Neris off edge enough to want to drink his worries away? Heismay tells us the strange noise, but it was footsteps. But not only he knows. If it has anything to do with the disappearances, it could prove his innocence. This is why he's telling us this. Stroll backs it up, saying that it was all that fog. He couldn't find the source of the steps, but he found plenty of something else. Children's shoes. Adding that it was after midnight, no time for children to be out and about. He had them checked and they're from missing children. Heisman believes it was the true culprit then. But Schroll informs that no one left town according to the guards. This means the culprit is in this very town all along. This leaves the question of how much we should tell Barden. Heismay believes that now is time to laying everything out, adding that we should take him too. Hulkenberg is unsure since there's a lot of risk, but Heismay replies that risk or not, the true culprit is one of them. And besides, like he said, we're hiding a man with a bounty. We're putting ourselves at risk. And he ends it by saying he wants to face his reality. His life leaves no room to truly mourn his son. And with that, we had to inform them of the good news. Barden is happy to see we're back, while Morris is shocked, seems we might be on the money of him staging us to die. Regardless of that, Stroll asks Barden a question of why is Heismay the only suspect of this case? Barden replies that a guard witnessed him, telling Morris to tell us. His story is flimsy and half-assed at most, but then makes it obvious he knows more as he says that what are the chances of two Ujif brigands in the area? Stroll calls him on it, as his defense is non-existent, just a nuh-uh. Hulkenberg adds that he was in our custody since yesterday, and yet there were more kidnappings. Barden asks us if it's true. Morris pleads for Barden to trust him, as Stroll adds onto the pressure, angering Morris, telling us to take a damn blood money already and get lost. Suddenly, Joanna, hearing the commotion, enters the room. As Barden seems to be telling her the story, Heismay hears something, asking, I heard it too. I don't, but suddenly he calls them fiends and vanishes. This put us in a position needing to find him, but being a part of the Shadow Guard, he's as good as gone. We're left to wonder what happened there. Scholl believes that Barden is innocent in all this, and it's just Morris. He framed Heismay with a false eyewitness testimony, must have seen him as the perfect scapegoat. That makes sense, but why would he kidnap him in the first place? We'll have to get to the bottom of this. Thankfully, Neris should be sober by now, so we go back to the runner and ask him some questions. Neris seems to be sober now, thankfully, as we ask for his recalling of yesterday's events, as it comes back to him, telling us it wasn't Heismay's reports he saw something. He peered from the window and saw a massive shadow moving through the fog. You couldn't tell what it was, a man or a beast, likely a dark messenger from the bowels of hell. He was shaken to his core. He called for help and grabbed something to steady himself, and that just happened to be booze. Well, this leaves the question of what is that big monster, but more importantly, how does it connect to Morris? Left with more questions than answers, we head back to the castle, but it's been locked due to Heismay being loose. We're left to wonder what to do. Hulkenberg thinks about sneaking in, but we heard Barden call out to us. He's with Heismay, seems they've been talking, as he tells us that the captain of the guard, he has a responsibility to the truth to know and uphold it. Heismay relents, saying he could have avoided all of this if we just lopped off his head, calling us oddballs. He tells us the reason is when Joanna opened the door, he could hear the sound of a child screaming. Barden is shocked, saying that she's childless. It cannot be her own family. This means that the kidnapper is inside the castle. This just heightens our suspicions of with Morris, even if Barden is having a hard time believing it could be him. With a lot on the line, Heismay wishes to join us, and I have no reason to refuse, which he's thankful for. Barden is also with us on this, telling us that an old underground tunnel that most guards don't know about, Heismay was the one who found it. He believes that there's lots of places to hide the hostages down there. Morris may know them. This leads us to follow his advice, finding the well in question, as we jump down to find him, or at least anything. Seems like we were right, as the guards were taking some sleeping children somewhere. Morris tells us that we're out of our jurisdiction now, and that anything that happens to us here is our own fault. Stroll calls him out for his heinous things he's doing, as Heismay sees a pack of feral beasts. We wonder if it's the thing, but Heismay hears louder sounds behind us. Morris says that the more that thing grew, these watchdogs changed too, saying they'll eat us. Hogenberg asks why they're taking residence. He simply responds that they're premium bait worth a fortune. He couldn't live on wages of a guardsman forever. I agree with Heismay, what a scumbag. Maurice responds, calling him out since he's a disgraced knight, calling him a coward who's been in a hole he deserves, telling him not to play the role of justice now. That's when Heismay speaks his truth.
'Tis why I stand here now. I ran from my past and turned away from my pain. You prey on innocent lives. Your sin will be repaid. Yet I cannot condemn you alone. Not when I could not see past my own suffering. Not when I locked myself away to be alone with my pain.
O lodestar, who falters in memory, O thou anguished traveler. Thy long stagnant stance hath finally been broken. Now choose thy path.
Choose? My choice is already made. You can't erase your past. All you can do is take it in hand and reshape your future.
Thank you. Thou hast chosen a noble parting. Henceforth, thy fears and insecurities are thy light. O lodestar, whose light reveals the king's own path, awaken.
I am Heismay Noctul. I believe the arc of life depends not upon birth. By these hands, soiled or sinless, I fight! Apologies, but I cannot do this alone. Go! Rip them apart! On guard! Morris, you will not escape me! Out of my way, fiends!
What's going on? He just started fighting with us. And even he awakened to his power.
Perchance 'tis through your influence that this power passed to him, Captain?
Oh, is this what Moore was talking about?
Young man, you seem the most adept with this magic. I will strike at your direction, if you might spare it. Rest assured, I once stood among the Shadow Guard, and the years have not dulled my edge.
Heismay has awoken to his archetype. Now it's seen that once again my influence has brought another one of my allies to a power beyond Igniters. And since this is just an awakening fight, there's nothing too much to say about it as they fall.
With blade in hand, my aim is go!
Stop! Damn! The bastard got away!
But the children are safe.
Good. You saved them, Heismay.
You know that I used to have a child of my own. My son. He was killed. I could not even protect my own flesh and blood. Who could call me a knight? Since then, I've wondered what I had left to live for, and found few answers.
Is that why you lived in such a dangerous place? That you might be...
We need to chase down Morris first. He said something kind of weird back there, didn't he?
Regarding the watchdogs, he said they gradually turned more horrific the more the monster grew.
Do you think that's the effect of the melancholia? I expect anything further in will be even more malformed then.
But why root all this in the basement of the lady's own domain? Clearly, someone is invested in Morris's efforts. But who would finance this?
I can't say for certain. Still, from the very beginning, this has felt beyond the realm of any sane, moral person.
And to think this started as a simple bounty contract. We've set foot in something far bigger, I think.
Let's get these poor youngsters back to Baden for now.
Sure. With events today over, Barden comes to thank us for saving the children. We tell him it's fine, and Stroll says that may be difficult to hear, but Morris had a hand in all of this. He confesses as much. He tells us that he found out he needed to pay some gambling debts, and he'll round up every guard and search the whole castle for him. Hulkenberg tells him that he's outmatched. It'd be better to have the guards prevent anyone from leaving the grounds. With everything around it, Stroll believes Joanna is somehow connected as well. Hulkenberg is unsure as she's a respected sanctoress, but Barden admits that they cannot find Joanna as well. Stroll tells him that we're here for our own reasons, adding whoever we find down there, we will not stay at our blaze. And Barden is fine with that. He'll just trust that Joanna is being held hostage. And with that, it seems Heisme is on board, since his name is being dragged in the mud due to all of this. And with that, we go our separate ways to sleep. But with everything that's happened, I find it hard to sleep. So I head to the runner to read my book in the peaceful breeze. Heisme appears unable to sleep himself, asking if I'm reading a novel, thinking, you don't see many carrying it around, asking for my group's true aim. I respond that I can't tell him just yet. He figured, thinking it's not his place to ask, as we sit next to each other with 2 cups filled with water, telling me back where he lived, there was no one like me, just Ujibes. They've never been accepted by other tribes, and it's no wonder they're nocturnal and look worlds apart. And due to their small size, they have no political sway. Their elders fought only short-term alliances, loyalties as changeable as the wind, relying on their power, not their own. He loathed that so much, cowering, thinking he was lesser. He honed his skills so the people in the city could accept him. He had some success. He was accepted in knighthood. He felt like people would accept him as an equal, but he was a fool. Never wanted among the true knights, merely shadow guard, where his deeds were dirty and kept secret. Ultimately, once they knew he wouldn't abide by their rules, they casted him away. His son died. He failed to protect him. And he resigned to being powerless, just like his damned elders he hated so much. But seeing me made him realize. He fought for a long time to be accepted. He'd need power or status. He didn't want to swear to a superior. He just didn't want to be alienated. For he just wanted friends. Sounds good to me, as I tell him that we're officially friends. He's happy to hear calling me a free spirit, and we shake on it, forming a bond between us, showing itself to be the heroic archetype of the thief. With that shake, he tells me that his son would be around my age, if he was still alive, although he would look nothing like me, and asks to read my book. I don't see why not, and besides, he's nocturnal, and I can't sleep, so we've got time to spare.
So, this is a fantasy novel. This section seems to describe the Utopia's approach to discrimination. Let's see here. In this world, discrimination and inequality are forbidden by law. It is a sin to impose injustice due to one's appearance, lineage, or birth. This is the accord established between the people and the state. Well, well. What a world that would be. I don't imagine our land will get there for another century or 5. Still, I cannot help but wonder whether those ideals would please an entire population. You cannot pretend at diversity without acknowledging individual differences. Some will be judged as strong, while others marked as weak. Equal competition doesn't mean equal footing. Their very aims of freedom and balance could spell doom for the striving weak. I wonder how we might ever achieve a true utopia, where everyone could be happy. If this awakened power is meant to be wielded in service of my beliefs, then, no matter who calls it naive or foolish, I will always use it to save the weak.